The Galactic Ban. The Galactic Council had made a bold decision that sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. They had announced a ban on humanity's involvement in any galactic conflicts. This decision was broadcasted across numerous planets, with the Council's spokesperson delivering a brief and vague explanation. The ban was presented as a precautionary measure, but the real reasons were left deliberately unclear. On Earth, the news of the ban created a stir. The Council's announcement came as a surprise to many, leaving humans baffled and angry. For centuries, Earth had been a relatively quiet player on the galactic stage, focusing on its own development and only occasionally interacting with other planets. The sudden ban on their participation in galactic wars seemed like an overreaction. People on Earth were left wondering what could have triggered such a drastic measure. The Council claimed that the ban was meant to maintain peace and prevent potential conflicts. They suggested that humanity's past actions had raised concerns, but they did not specify what those actions were. The lack of details fueled rumors and speculations among Earth's population. Some believed that the Council was hiding something important, while others thought that it was a temporary measure that would eventually be lifted. The ban also had significant implications for Earth's diplomats and leaders. They had worked hard to build relationships with other planets and to gain respect in the galactic community. Now they faced the challenge of dealing with the ban and its effects on their reputation. Many felt that the Council's decision was a blow to their efforts and a sign of mistrust. A small team of human diplomats and researchers was assembled to investigate the true reasons behind the ban. This team, led by seasoned diplomat Clara Jensen, was tasked with uncovering the hidden motives of the Galactic Council. They were determined to find out why humanity had been excluded from galactic affairs and to clear their name. The team began their investigation by reaching out to various contacts within the galactic network. They'd visited embassies, spoke with officials, and reviewed old records. However, they found that information about the ban was tightly controlled. Many officials were either unwilling or unable to provide them with useful details. The Council's secrecy only deepened the mystery surrounding the ban. Despite the obstacles, Clara and her team were resolute. They believed that there was more to the story than what the Council had revealed. They were convinced that the ban was not just about maintaining peace but was driven by other factors. Their mission was to uncover the truth and to find out if there was a way to overturn the ban. The situation on Earth was tense. News of the ban spread quickly, leading to protests and debates. Some people called for a more aggressive stance against the Galactic Council, demanding that Earth take action to challenge the decision. Others urged caution, fearing that any rash moves could escalate tensions and lead to further isolation. As the days went by, Clara and her team continued their efforts, piecing together information from various sources. They encountered many challenges, but their determination never wavered. They knew that understanding the true reason behind the ban was crucial for Earth's future. In the meantime, the Galactic Council's decision was beginning to show its effects. Trade negotiations were affected, and diplomatic relations became strained. The Council's decision to ban humanity from galactic conflicts seemed to be causing more disruption than intended. It became clear that the ban was not just a simple policy, but a significant event with far-reaching consequences. As the investigation progressed, Clara and her team remained hopeful that they would uncover the hidden truth. They were driven by the belief that understanding the real reasons behind the ban would not only help Earth, but also restore their place in the galactic community. The stakes were high, and the team knew that their efforts could change the course of events. The galactic ban had set the stage for a tense and uncertain future. Earth's response to the ban would shape its relationship with the galaxy and its role in the ongoing struggles for power and influence. Clara and her team were at the forefront of this critical mission, determined to find the answers and to ensure that humanity's voice was heard in the galactic arena. Earth's confusion. The announcement of the Galactic Council's ban on humanity's involvement in galactic wars left Earth in a state of confusion and unrest. The news spread like wildfire across the planet, causing a mix of outrage, confusion, and disbelief among its inhabitants. As the days passed, the initial shock turned into a wave of frustration and curiosity. On Earth, life went on as usual, but the ban was the hot topic of conversation. News channels, social media platforms, and public forums were abuzz with debates and theories about the Council's decision. Some people were furious, believing that the ban was an unfair and unjust punishment. They argued that humanity had not been given a proper explanation, and that the Council was hiding the real reasons for their decision. In government offices, there was a flurry of activity as leaders and diplomats scrambled to respond. The ban affected their carefully laid plans and diplomatic efforts. For years, Earth had been working to establish itself as a respected member of the galactic community. The sudden exclusion was a blow to their progress and caused a significant diplomatic setback. Amidst the chaos, a team of experts was assembled to investigate the situation further. Led by Clara Jensen, a respected diplomat known for her expertise and calm demeanor, the team was tasked with uncovering the truth behind the ban. Clara had always been a skilled negotiator and was chosen for this crucial mission due to her experience and reputation. The team started by reaching out to their contacts in the Galactic network, hoping to gather more information about the ban. They contacted former allies, galactic ambassadors, and even low-level officials who might have insights into the Council's decision. However, they were met with mixed responses. Some contacts were evasive, while others were outright unhelpful, adding to the team's frustration. As Clara and her team delved deeper, they faced numerous obstacles. The Galactic Council's bureaucracy was notoriously complex, and accessing detailed records was no easy task. Many documents were classified, and even getting basic information proved challenging. The team's efforts were hindered by the Council's strict control over information and their reluctance to share details. Back on Earth, the public's reaction was a mix of anger and curiosity. Protests erupted in major cities as people demanded answers from their leaders. Many felt that the ban was a deliberate attempt to undermine humanity's progress and diminish their role in galactic affairs. The protests were peaceful but fervent, with citizens holding signs and chanting slogans calling for transparency and justice. In response to the growing unrest, the government made several public statements. Officials assured the public that they were working diligently to address the situation and find out the real reasons behind the ban. They promised that the investigation would be thorough and that they would fight to reverse the decision. However, their assurances did little to calm the growing anxiety among the populace. Amid the turmoil, Clara and her team continued their investigation. They explored various avenues, including interviewing experts and accessing historical records. They discovered that the Galactic Council had a history of making controversial decisions, but the current situation was unlike anything they had encountered before. The secrecy surrounding the ban suggested that there was something significant being hidden. As the investigation progressed, Clara noticed a pattern in the responses they received. Many officials and contacts seemed genuinely afraid to speak out. The fear of retribution or the loss of their positions was evident. This made Clara and her team question if the ban was more than just a precautionary measure. They began to suspect that there might be deeper, more sinister motives at play. The confusion on Earth grew as the investigation continued. The lack of clear answers and the ongoing secrecy from the Galactic Council only fueled speculation and unrest. The people of Earth were left to wonder about their place in the galaxy and the reasons behind the sudden and mysterious ban. In the midst of the uncertainty, Clara remained focused on her mission. She knew that uncovering the truth was crucial not only for Earth's reputation, but also for ensuring that humanity could continue to play a meaningful role in the galaxy. The stakes were high, and the pressure was mounting. Clara and her team were determined to find the answers and to clear humanity's name, no matter how challenging the task might be. Searching for clues, Clara Jensen and her team were determined to find out why humanity had been banned from galactic conflicts. With the Galactic Council remaining tight-lipped, the task ahead was daunting. The team set out to search for clues that might reveal the real reason behind the ban. Their mission was to uncover hidden truths and provide Earth with clear answers. The team began by examining old galactic records and archives. They hoped that historical documents might contain valuable information about past decisions and events. Clara and her team visited various galactic libraries and data centers, accessing vast amounts of digital records. However, finding relevant information proved to be a needle in a haystack situation. Much of the data was either outdated or irrelevant to their investigation. One of the first challenges they encountered was the sheer volume of data. The galactic records were extensive and disorganized. Sorting through the material required time and patience. The team members took turns analyzing the data, searching for any mention of humanity or references to the ban. They used advanced search tools and algorithms to filter through the information, but progress was slow. During their search, they discovered a few intriguing documents. Some records hinted at past conflicts and decisions involving humanity, but the details were sparse. The Council's records often contained redactions and omissions, making it difficult to piece together a complete picture. Clara suspected that the Council had deliberately obscured certain information to protect their interests. The team also interviewed former galactic officials and diplomats who had worked with humanity in the past. These interviews provided some insights but were often inconclusive. Many of the individuals they spoke with were hesitant to discuss the ban or seemed afraid to provide honest answers. It was clear that the Galactic Council's influence extended beyond their official statements. In addition to official records and interviews, Clara and her team explored less conventional sources of information. They reached out to independent historians and researchers who specialized in galactic affairs. These experts had their own theories and speculations about the ban. Some believed that the Council's decision was based on a long-standing grudge or rivalry, while others thought it might be a strategic move to suppress humanity's growing influence. Despite these efforts, finding concrete evidence remained elusive. The team struggled to connect the dots between the scattered pieces of information they had gathered. Clara began to worry that they might never uncover the full truth. The secrecy surrounding the ban was proving to be a formidable obstacle. As the investigation continued, Clara and her team faced increasing pressure. The public on Earth was growing impatient, and the protests against the Council were intensifying. The team's progress was slow, and there were mounting expectations for them to deliver answers. Clara felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders and knew that finding the truth was crucial not only for her team, but for the entire planet. One evening, while reviewing the set of old diplomatic reports, Clara noticed a pattern. Several documents referenced a mysterious galactic directive that seemed to influence many of the Council's decisions. The directive was mentioned in various contexts but never fully explained. Clara's curiosity was piqued. She realized that this directive might be a key piece of the puzzle. The team decided to focus their efforts on investigating the galactic directive. They searched for any records or references related to it, hoping to uncover its purpose and significance. As they dug deeper, they encountered more barriers, including encrypted files and restricted access. It was clear that the directive was a closely guarded secret. Despite the difficulties, Clara remained hopeful. She believed that uncovering the galactic directive could provide valuable insights into the ban and the Council's motivations. The team continued their search with renewed determination, knowing that their efforts could change the course of events and reveal the truth behind humanity's exclusion from galactic conflicts. As the search for clues continued, Clara and her team were driven by the belief that they were on the verge of a breakthrough. They knew that finding the truth was essential for addressing the ban and restoring humanity's place in the galactic community. The investigation was far from over, but Clara remained committed to the mission, ready to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within the depths of galactic history. The ancient conflict. Clara Jensen and her team were making slow progress in their search for answers when they stumbled upon a significant lead. Among the numerous documents and records, they found references to an ancient galactic conflict involving humanity. This discovery was intriguing, as it hinted at a possible connection to the current ban imposed by the Galactic Council. The ancient conflict was mentioned in several historical accounts, but details were sparse. The records spoke of a war that took place thousands of years ago, during a time when humanity was still emerging as a spacefaring civilization. According to the accounts, this war had far-reaching effects on the galaxy and had left a lasting impact on its political landscape. Clara and her team decided to focus their attention on this ancient conflict. They hoped that understanding its context and consequences might shed light on why humanity was now being excluded from galactic wars. They began by piecing together information from various sources, including old battle reports, diplomatic dispatches, and historical narratives. The records described a devastating conflict that involved numerous star systems and species. Humanity, at that time, was depicted as a powerful and ambitious force, engaging in aggressive expansion and territorial battles. The war had reportedly resulted in significant destruction and loss of life across the galaxy. The Council's historical accounts suggested that humanity's actions during this period were considered a threat to the stability of the galaxy. As Clara and her team dug deeper, they discovered that the ancient conflict had ended with a major treaty. This treaty was designed to prevent any future wars and to establish strict guidelines for galactic conduct. The records indicated that the treaty included provisions to monitor and restrict humanity's involvement in galactic conflicts. The goal was to prevent any recurrence of the devastation caused by the earlier war. The team found evidence that the treaty had been enforced by a coalition of galactic powers, including the Galactic Council. The Council, as part of its role, had taken on the responsibility of ensuring that the treaty's terms were upheld. This included the imposition of the current ban on humanity's participation in conflicts. The more Clara learned about the ancient conflict, the more she realized how deeply it had influenced the Council's policies. The ban on humanity was not just a recent decision, but a continuation of the Council's efforts to maintain peace and stability based on past experiences. The ancient conflict had set a precedent that shaped the Council's approach to handling potential threats. Despite this newfound understanding, Clara and her team still had many questions. The ancient conflict had been a distant event, and it was unclear how its legacy had led to the current ban. They needed more information about the specific terms of the treaty and how they had been applied over the centuries. The team continued their investigation, seeking out experts and historians who could provide additional insights into the ancient conflict and the treaty. They also tried to access more detailed records and documents related to the treaty's enforcement. However, obtaining these records proved to be challenging, as many of them were classified and difficult to access. As they pressed on, Clara and her team faced growing pressure from Earth's leaders and the public. The frustration over the ban was mounting, and there was a sense of urgency to find answers. Clara knew that uncovering the full story behind the ancient conflict and the treaty was crucial for addressing the ban and restoring humanity's role in the galactic community. The ancient conflict had become a key piece of the puzzle. Clara and her team were determined to understand how this historical event had shaped the Council's current policies. They hoped that by uncovering the full extent of the conflict's impact, they could find a way to challenge the ban and ensure that humanity was treated fairly. As they continued their search, Clara remained focused on the mission. She knew that the answers they sought were critical for Earth's future and for resolving the tensions caused by the ban. The ancient conflict was a powerful reminder of the past, but it was up to Clara and her team to unravel its mysteries and pave the way for a more equitable future in the galaxy. The Council's secret plan. As Clara Jensen and her team continued their investigation, they stumbled upon a tantalizing clue: hints of a secret plan by the Galactic Council. This new lead promised to unveil deeper motives behind the ban on humanity. The discovery added a new layer of complexity to their mission and fueled their determination to uncover the truth. The clue came from a confidential informant, a former Council employee named Aiden Croft. Aiden had worked within the Council's inner circles before resigning under mysterious circumstances. He reached out to Clara, offering a cryptic message about a secret plan that was connected to humanity's exclusion. His willingness to share this information suggested that he was troubled by the Council's actions and sought to make amends. Clara and her team arranged a meeting with Aiden in a secure location. He appeared nervous but resolute, knowing that revealing sensitive information could have serious consequences. During their discussion, Aiden disclosed that the Council had been working on a covert strategy to maintain control over certain galactic territories. This strategy involved manipulating conflicts and limiting the influence of emerging powers, including humanity. According to Aiden, the Council's secret plan was to prevent any single species from becoming too dominant. This was done to ensure that no group could disrupt the fragile balance of power within the galaxy. The plan aimed to control the growth and influence of rising civilizations, and humanity's ban was a part of this broader strategy. Aiden provided Clara with several documents that detailed aspects of the Council's plan. The documents revealed that the Council had been monitoring humanity closely and had identified it as a potential threat to their control. They believed that humanity's rapid technological advancements and military capabilities could upset the established order and challenge their authority. One document mentioned a containment protocol designed to limit humanity's participation in galactic affairs. This protocol was implemented to ensure that humanity remained in check and did not gain enough power to challenge the Council's dominance. The protocol was kept highly classified, and only a few high-ranking officials were aware of its existence. The information Aiden provided was both shocking and enlightening. It explained why the Council had imposed such a severe ban on humanity and why they had been so secretive about their motives. The ban was not just a precautionary measure, but a strategic move to maintain the Council's control over the galaxy. Clara and her team carefully reviewed the documents and considered their next steps. They realized that uncovering the full extent of the Council's secret plan was crucial for understanding the reasons behind the ban. They needed to gather more evidence and corroborate Aiden's information to build a solid case. The team decided to dig deeper into the Council's activities and its history of managing galactic power. They focused on investigating past incidents and decisions that might reveal how the Council had implemented its plan. They also sought out other informants and experts who could provide additional insights into the Council's strategies. As the investigation progressed, Clara and her team faced increasing challenges. The Council's influence was far-reaching, and uncovering hidden information required navigating a complex web of secrecy and bureaucracy. They encountered obstacles, including restricted access to records and resistance from officials who were loyal to the Council. Despite these difficulties, Clara remained determined. She understood that exposing the Council's secret plan was essential for addressing the ban and ensuring that humanity's interests were protected. The information they had uncovered so far pointed to a deliberate effort to undermine humanity's potential and control its growth. The revelation of the Council's secret plan added urgency to Clara's mission. She knew that the truth needed to be brought to light to challenge the unfair ban and restore humanity's place in the galactic community. With renewed focus, Clara and her team continued their investigation, hoping to uncover further evidence and make a compelling case against the Council's tactics. The journey was far from over, but Clara and her team were more determined than ever. They were on a path to reveal the hidden motives behind the ban and to fight for a fair and just resolution. The Council's secret plan was a critical piece of the puzzle, and Clara was committed to exposing the truth and ensuring that humanity's voice was heard in the galaxy. Rising anger on Earth. As Clara Jensen and her team delved deeper into the Galactic Council's secret plan, the situation on Earth grew increasingly tense. The news of the Council's manipulation and the ban on humanity's involvement in galactic conflicts had sparked widespread outrage. The people of Earth were not content with half-truths and evasive answers. They wanted justice and clarity, and their anger was mounting with each passing day. The protests that had started as small gatherings had now escalated into large-scale demonstrations. Major cities around the world were filled with people holding signs and chanting slogans demanding answers. The protests were peaceful but fervent, with citizens expressing their frustration and calling for the government to take decisive action. The media coverage of the protests was extensive. News outlets reported on the growing unrest and the public's demand for transparency. Coverage included interviews with protesters who shared their frustrations and concerns about the ban. The sentiment was clear. The people of Earth felt that they were being unfairly treated and were determined to hold the Galactic Council accountable. In response to the rising anger, Earth's leaders faced immense pressure. Government officials were bombarded with questions from the media and the public. They were accused of failing to protect Earth's interests and of being too passive in the face of galactic injustice. The leaders tried to reassure the public by promising a thorough investigation and by vowing to challenge the ban, but their words did little to quell the growing discontent. Amid the unrest, Clara and her team continued their work, knowing that their findings were crucial in addressing the public's concerns. They realized that the anger on Earth was not just a reaction to the ban, but also a reflection of a broader desire for recognition and respect in the galactic community. The people wanted to know why they had been singled out and what could be done to rectify the situation. Clara was acutely aware of the stakes. The increasing anger and pressure from Earth were driving her to work harder. She understood that the investigation needed to produce results quickly to address the public's frustrations and to restore confidence in the government's ability to handle the situation. The team's efforts to uncover the truth were more critical than ever. As the protests continued, some fringe groups began to emerge, advocating for more radical actions. These groups called for direct confrontation with the Galactic Council and suggested extreme measures to retaliate against the perceived injustice. While these voices were in the minority, they added an element of unpredictability to the situation and raised concerns about the potential for violence. The government took steps to address these concerns by increasing security and monitoring the activities of these groups. They aimed to prevent any escalation of violence and to ensure that the protests remained peaceful. However, the presence of these radical elements added to the overall tension and complexity of the situation. Public figures and activists also joined the call for justice. Prominent voices from various fields, including science, politics, and entertainment, spoke out against the ban and the Council's actions. They used their platforms to highlight the importance of fairness and to call for a revaluation of humanity's role in the galaxy. Clara and her team were aware that their investigation had to address not only the factual basis of the ban, but also the broader narrative of humanity's place in the galactic order. They needed to craft a compelling story that would resonate with the public and provide a basis for challenging the Council's decisions. The rising anger on Earth was a powerful reminder of the stakes involved. The public's desire for answers and justice was palpable, and it fueled Clara's determination to uncover the truth. She knew that the path ahead would be challenging, but she remained focused on the mission, committed to delivering the answers that Earth needed and ensuring that humanity's voice was heard in the galaxy. With the investigation in full swing and public sentiment at a fever pitch, Clara and her team pressed on. They understood that the resolution of this crisis would require not only revealing the truth, but also addressing the underlying issues that had led to the ban. The road ahead was uncertain, but Clara was determined to see it through and to restore humanity's rightful place in the galactic community. Uncovering the truth. Clara Jensen and her team were running out of time. The rising anger on Earth had reached a boiling point, and the pressure on them to find answers was immense. With the stakes higher than ever, they knew they needed to uncover the truth behind the Galactic Council's ban on humanity, and fast. The team had been following leads from various sources, including Aiden Croft's revelations about the Council's secret plan. However, despite their best efforts, they still lacked concrete evidence that would truly expose the Council's motives. Clara decided that it was time to dig deeper and get to the bottom of the Council's decision-making process. They began by focusing on a key aspect of their investigation: the Council's internal communications. These were the documents and messages that might reveal the discussions and decisions leading to the ban. Clara's team worked tirelessly to gain access to these sensitive materials, leveraging their connections and resources to bypass some of the security measures in place. After weeks of persistent effort, they managed to obtain a set of decrypted communications from within the Council. These messages included correspondence between high-ranking officials and internal memos discussing humanity's role in the galaxy. The documents were a goldmine of information, revealing the Council's internal debates and strategies. One document stood out. It was a memo from a Council official that outlined the rationale for the ban. The memo described how the Council had perceived humanity as a potential threat due to its rapid technological advancements and growing influence. It was clear from the document that the ban was not a decision made lightly. Rather, it was a calculated measure to maintain the Council's control over galactic affairs. The memo also revealed that there had been significant disagreement within the Council about the ban. Some officials argued that humanity should be given more freedom to participate in galactic conflicts, while others pushed for stricter measures to contain humanity's power. Ultimately, the more conservative faction prevailed, and the ban was implemented. Clara's team found another crucial piece of information: evidence of covert meetings where the ban was discussed. These meetings included representatives from various galactic species and factions. The records indicated that the decision to ban humanity was part of a broader strategy to prevent any single species from gaining too much power and disrupting the balance of the galaxy. With this new evidence, Clara and her team were able to piece together a clearer picture of the Council's motivations. The ban was not just about humanity's past actions, but was also a strategic move to control future developments and ensure the stability of galactic order. The Council's fear of humanity's potential was a driving factor behind their decision. The revelation was both shocking and enlightening. Clara realized that the ban was a complex issue with deep-rooted motivations and political maneuvering. The Council's actions were influenced by a combination of fear, strategic considerations, and internal power struggles. Armed with this new information, Clara and her team prepared to present their findings to Earth's leaders. They knew that exposing the truth was crucial for addressing the public's demands and challenging the unfair ban. They crafted a comprehensive report that detailed their investigation, including the evidence of the Council's internal debates and the strategic motivations behind the ban. The report was thorough and well documented, providing a clear account of how the Council's decision had been influenced by a combination of fear and political strategy. Clara hoped that the report would be enough to persuade Earth's leaders to take a stronger stance against the Council and to demand a revaluation of the ban. As they prepared to release their findings, Clara and her team felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. They knew that their work had the potential to bring about significant change, but they also understood that it would come with risks and challenges. The Council's response to their revelations would be critical in determining the next steps. With the truth now uncovered, Clara and her team were ready to face whatever came next. They had worked tirelessly to reveal the real reasons behind the ban, and to ensure that humanity's voice was heard. The journey had been arduous, but their dedication to uncovering the truth had brought them closer to addressing the injustice and restoring humanity's rightful place in the galactic community. The Galactic Uprising. With Clara Jensen and her team having uncovered the truth behind the Galactic Council's ban on humanity, the situation took a dramatic turn. The revelations about the Council's secret plan and their motivations sparked not only outrage on Earth, but also a wave of unrest across the galaxy. This growing anger began to coalesce into what became known as the Galactic Uprising. The news of the Council's manipulative tactics spread quickly through the galaxy. As more species learned about the unfair treatment of humanity and the Council's efforts to maintain control, support for humanity grew. Many alien species, previously indifferent or neutral, began to question the Council's authority and decisions. The uprising began with peaceful protests on several planets. These protests were initially small, but grew in size and intensity as more species joined in. The common theme was clear: Many felt that the Council's actions were unjust and that they had been wronged by the Council's secretive and oppressive policies. The protests were a call for greater transparency, fairness, and respect for all species in the galaxy. One of the most significant turning points in the uprising was the formation of the Unity Coalition, a group of various species and factions united by a shared desire for change. The coalition's leaders, including influential figures from different planets, called for an end to the Council's domination and demanded a more equitable galactic system. The Unity Coalition quickly gained momentum, attracting widespread support from both citizens and influential leaders. They organized rallies, issued public statements, and called for a galactic-wide revaluation of the Council's policies. Their message was clear. The Council's actions had gone too far, and it was time for a new era of fairness and collaboration. As the uprising gained traction, tensions between the Council and the Coalition escalated. The Council, alarmed by the growing dissent, attempted to suppress the movement through propaganda and force. They deployed security forces to quell protests and tried to discredit the Coalition's leaders. However, these efforts only fueled the Coalition's resolve and increased support for their cause. Amidst the turmoil, Earth's leaders took a bold step. They formally joined the Unity Coalition, signaling their support for the uprising and their commitment to challenging the Council. This move was a significant boost to the Coalition's efforts and marked a shift in the power dynamics within the galaxy. Clara and her team, though initially focused on uncovering the truth, found themselves playing a crucial role in the uprising. They used their findings to rally support for the Coalition and to expose the Council's wrongdoings on a galactic stage. Their reports and evidence became powerful tools in the struggle for justice, and they worked closely with the Coalition to strategize and coordinate their efforts. The galactic uprising reached a critical juncture as the Coalition and the Council prepared for a showdown. The uprising had grown beyond just a protest. It was now a full-scale challenge to the Council's authority. Both sides prepared for a potential conflict that could reshape the future of the galaxy. The Coalition's leaders emphasized the importance of a peaceful resolution and sought to negotiate with the Council. They proposed a series of reforms aimed at democratizing the galactic governance structure and ensuring fair representation for all species. Their goal was to establish a new order that would prevent the Council from exerting unchecked control. The Council, facing mounting pressure and internal dissent, was at a crossroads. The uprising had demonstrated the strength of the collective will of the galaxy's inhabitants and the limitations of the Council's power. The outcome of the negotiations would determine the future of galactic politics and the role humanity would play in it. As the negotiations unfolded, the fate of the uprising and the galaxy's future hung in the balance. Clara and her team continued to advocate for justice and fairness, hoping that their efforts would contribute to a positive resolution. The galactic uprising had become a pivotal moment in galactic history, with the potential to bring about meaningful change and restore balance to the galaxy. With the uprising gaining momentum and the Council under pressure, the galaxy awaited the outcome of this historic struggle. The quest for justice and equality had united diverse species in a common cause, and the fight for a fairer galactic order was reaching its climax. A new galactic era. The climax of the galactic uprising brought an end to the intense conflict between the Unity Coalition and the Galactic Council. After weeks of negotiations and mounting pressure, a historic agreement was reached. This agreement marked the beginning of a new era for the galaxy, one defined by fairness, cooperation, and respect among all species. The negotiations were tough and full of challenges. The Unity Coalition, representing a broad coalition of species and factions, presented their demands clearly. Reforms to democratize galactic governance, greater representation for all species, and an end to the Council's oppressive policies. The Council, facing unprecedented pressure and internal dissent, recognized that their old ways were no longer tenable. The agreement reached was a comprehensive one. It included the dissolution of the Council's previous power structures and the creation of a new governing body. This new body was designed to ensure equal representation for all galactic species and to prevent any single group from dominating others. The structure of the new government was based on principles of fairness and transparency, aiming to address the grievances that had led to the uprising. Clara Jensen and her team, who had played a crucial role in exposing the Council's wrongdoings, were celebrated as heroes. Their tireless efforts to uncover the truth and support the Unity Coalition had been instrumental in bringing about this change. They were recognized not only on Earth, but throughout the galaxy for their contributions to the new era of galactic politics. As the new governing body was established, the galaxy began to experience the effects of the reforms. The new leadership embraced a more inclusive and collaborative approach. Species that had once been marginalized were now given a voice in galactic decisions, and policies were implemented to ensure that all civilizations had an opportunity to contribute to the galaxy's future. The change was not immediate, and there were still challenges to overcome. Transitioning to a new system required effort and adaptation from all sides. However, the overall sentiment was one of optimism and hope. The galaxy had endured a period of upheaval, but the promise of a more equitable and cooperative future provided a sense of direction and purpose. The impact of the uprising and the subsequent reforms was profound. The new galactic government worked to address the issues that had led to the Council's downfall. Efforts were made to rebuild trust and to create a more harmonious galactic community. Collaborative projects and joint initiatives between species became more common, fostering a spirit of unity and shared progress. On Earth, the mood was one of relief and pride. The public's anger had been channeled into a positive force for change, and the new galactic order was seen as a significant achievement. The leaders who had supported the uprising were recognized for their bravery and commitment, and there was a renewed sense of optimism about humanity's place in the galaxy. Clara and her team continued their work, now focusing on ensuring that the new system was functioning as intended. They were involved in monitoring the implementation of the reforms and addressing any issues that arose. Their role shifted from being advocates for change to being custodians of the new era, helping to shape the future of galactic governance. The end of the uprising marked a turning point in galactic history. It was a time of reflection and renewal, as species from across the galaxy came together to build a better future. The lessons learned from the conflict served as a reminder of the importance of fairness, transparency, and cooperation. As the galaxy moved forward into this new era, Clara and her team were proud of their contributions. They had witnessed the transformation of galactic politics and had played a role in creating a more just and inclusive system. The future held promise, and the galaxy was ready to embrace a new chapter of unity and progress. The legacy of the galactic uprising was one of hope and determination. It demonstrated that even in the face of great challenges, the quest for justice and equality could lead to meaningful change. The new galactic era was a testament to the power of collective action and the enduring spirit of those who fought for a better future.